I have been warning about a structure that progressives have worked to put into place. The health care bill, cap and trade, the stimulus bill, thousands and thousands of pages that nobody has seemed to have read. We exposed this structure layer by layer until we finally got to the same guy over and over again, George Soros. Now, I just showed you how he collapsed regimes internationally, and now he's aiming at America. Soros has been calling for globalization for decades, saying, quote, to stabilize and regulate a truly global economy, we need some global system of political decision-making. In short, we need a global society to support our global economy. Interestingly, the greatest opposition to this idea is coming from the United States. With the right sense of leadership and with a clarity of purpose, the U.S. and its allies could help stabilize the global economic system. The opportunity is waiting to be grasped. So he knows better. You just don't understand. Do you see the arrogance? Soros' goal for achieving globalization is done through organizations, puppet organizations, and he remains in the shadow. He's able to pull the strings because he's the money that animates each of these puppets. According to Shadow Party author Richard Poe, he wrote, through his global web of open society institutes and open society foundations, Soros has spent 25 years recruiting, training, indoctrinating, and installing a network of loyal operatives in 50 countries, placing them in positions of influence and in power in media, government, finance, and academia. Does any of this sound familiar? This formula of infiltrating the system is always the same with Soros. It's the one he always uses. So I'm not asking you to believe me on conjecture. I'm asking you to learn the history of George Soros. His method is to create a shadow party, form a shadow government every time, and then you'll be one step closer to one world government and taking power. A shadow party is not a political party. It is not at least not in a tangible sense. It works outside the normal electoral system. In 2000, Soros funded 1/3 of the shadow conventions. Do you even remember these? They were run by Arianna Huffington, the president's favorite source of news. And one of the lead organizers next to her was Jim Wallace, one of the guys who is campaigning against this program, surprise, surprise. The idea was to parallel the Democratic and Republican conventions, the shadow convention. Huffington said at the time, the message of the shadow conventions was, quote, not left or right, and the answers to these issues are not going to be found in the old ideas of the past. Clearly, the Great Society solution of top-down programs has failed. Top-down programs. Instead, the answers could be found in the raw power, quoting, of government appropriations. Wow. But it was the next election cycle that truly launched the shadow party. In 2004, when Soros didn't mince words, he stated, quote, this is not a normal election. These are not normal times. And, quote, I do not accept the rules imposed by others. If I did, I would not be alive today. And in periods of regime change, normal rules do not apply. One needs to adjust one's behavior to the changing circumstances. By the 2004 election cycle, Soros' shadow party had shaped the Democratic message. Under Soros, the guidance of the shadow party infrastructure had assumed the coherent shape by early 2004. There were 7 extensively independent nonprofit groups, which included MoveOn.org, that would help the Democrats. Really. Soros surrounds himself by radicals and revolutionaries. Let me go back to what I told you at the beginning. George Soros is creating a new structure through a shadow party. He infiltrates politics. He pulls the same playbook out every single time. Ukraine, Croatia, Yugoslavia, Georgia, and Slovakia. The same thing. Here it is, step by step. Step 1, you form a shadow government. He's done that. Infiltrate the target country using humanitarian aid, Open Society Institute, or ACORN, whatever they are, as cover. Step 2, you control the airwaves. Has he done that? Fund existing radio and television outlets, or start your own outlets. We showed you this chalkboard yesterday. This is his media empire. NPR, free press. It's all here. Step 3, you destabilize the state. Would you make a case that this is being done? You cause a political or economic crisis, or you take advantage of an existing crisis. Step 4, provoke an election crisis, where you don't want to really trust the outcome of an election. You wait for an election, and then you cry voter fraud. This, by the way, La Raza and Acorn funded through OSI, George Soros' charity arm. Step 5, stage massive demonstrations, and you accuse opponents of voter fraud through radio and TV stations that you control. Soros has been laying the groundwork for change for the U.S. for decades, going through many of these steps one at a time, sometimes combined. Step 1, Soros has established his Open Society Institute in the U.S. Step 2, he's been trying to control the airwaves by funding media outlets and attacking Fox News, and they're doing it now with millions of dollars on this program and Fox. Step 3, Soros supports massive government spending, which will worsen our deficit crisis, destabilize the state. This is a man who lives above the law. This is a man who is not exactly humble. In fact, he fancies himself somewhat of a god. In his own words, next. So, what would possess a man to need as much power as George Soros does? Well, the title of a biography that he himself authorized refers to him as a messianic billionaire. Wow, that's quite a claim. But maybe you should look into the mind of the puppet master and see what's inside.
The United States should find its proper place in a new world order. They would have to give up some of their privileges.
He's been trying to reorder the world as if he is the creator. Soros has admitted in the past he doesn't believe in God. But that's perhaps because he thinks he is.
Soros himself admits that from the time he was very young, he had megalomaniacal ideas. He said he had messianic fantasies. He said he even thought of himself as a kind of god.
In Underwriting Democracy, he writes, quote, "If truth be known, I carried some rather potent messianic fantasies with me from childhood. In The Alchemy of Finance, quote, I fancied myself as some kind of god."
He's even said that now that I've made these things, these dreams into a reality, I feel more comfortable admitting to the magnitude of my, my ambitions.
In Soros on Soros, quote, "I probably couldn't feel all of a piece if I weren't larger than life." To the New Yorker, God in the Old Testament has a number of attributes. Invisible. I was pretty invisible. Benevolent. I was pretty benevolent. All-seeing. I tried to be all-seeing. End quote.
Soros goes further in that he has said that he wants to be the conscience of the world. He was quoted by his biographer, Kaufman.
Yes, I did say that, and actually I stand by it. I think the world very much needs a conscience. I want my foundation network to be the conscience of the world.
He gets a kick out of playing God. It's actually amusing to him. He says, in his own words, it's a game. Unfortunately, what Mr. Soros forgets is these are real people. This is not some game. Real lives are being destroyed for his financial gain and for his power. I'm called a hate monger because I have conservative views and positions like, I don't know, let people keep their money. But let me tell you this, it takes a cold, cold heart to have full knowledge that what you are doing to make a buck is literally destroying the lives of people. And now he's messing with your life. He says, in his own words, America is his next target.
I became concerned with the problems of globalization, where you have global markets, but you have politics based on the sovereignty of states. So how do you deal with that issue? And then I came to the realization that open society is endangered by our current leadership in this country, and that is when I refocused my attention on the United States.
He has focused his attention. This isn't a hypothesis. This has been proven. This is what this man does. He has done it before, and now he wants an orderly decline of the dollar. His words, not mine. You see, he knows what's coming, and because of that, he can hedge. He knows exactly where to go. He knows where the exits are, and he's done it over and over again. He will gain profit and power, and you will lose both. He's playing God, which is fine by him, because he's an atheist. So there has to be a God who's going to fill that void. Well, he's smart enough to do it. In one transcript, he said that he was benevolent just like God. He sees the future just like God. So what does God's Bible preach? Globalization.
Open society is a desirable form of social organization, both as a means to an end and as an end in itself.
Okay. That's, by the way, the replacement of the republic, an open society. This is not a leap of faith. I'm stating this as fact. And as I told you last night at glennbeck.com and on theblaze.com, you will find all of these facts, all of the research. Do not take my word for it. Not one bit on this show. Do not take my word for it. Read about it yourself. Most of it comes in the form of his own words. Come on over here for a second. These are, many of these are the books that we use to prepare this show. And many of these books are written by him. This one, this one, this one. You can read about it. He's not shy about telling you. I mean, God wrote a book too. He wrote 3. All right, George Soros has his sights on America. So how does he view us? Well, it's easy. He views us like this. America is the main obstacle to a stable and just world order. The United States. His words, not mine. So not only does he want to bring America to her knees financially, he wants to reap obscene profits off us as well. Like when he made $1 billion off the collapse of the British sterling. His claim, not mine.
The money that I made on this particular transaction, the estimate is about $1 billion.
You were the guy, they said, who broke the Bank of England.
Right, and
did.
Well, that's true.
He's just a lovable old spooky dude. By the way, his people, when they met with my number 2 in a story that I told you last night, and remember, left us this threat, I mean this gift, he says they didn't really make that much off it. So is he lying then or is he lying now? Which is it? This man causes misery in his wake. People's lives were ruined. Retirement accounts, savings, jobs, all gone. Grandma and Grandpa saved their whole life. Gone. And he just walks away. You've saved your whole life. If you've put all your money away for retirement, it's now worth 30% less in the last 10 years. And it's about to be worth a lot less. What are you going to do? You're going to go back and get another job? See, he doesn't think about that stuff because your life is a game to this man. And again, listen to George Soros in his own words.
When you try to, let's say, improve society, you affect different people and different interests differently, and they are not actually commensurate. So you very often have all kinds of unintended adverse consequences. So I had to experiment, and it was a learning process. The first part was this subversive activity, disrupting repressive regimes. That was a lot of fun, and that's actually what got me hooked on this whole enterprise.
That was a lot of fun, experimenting with people's lives. This is what happens when people put themselves in an elite category or appoint themselves rulers, or in his case, see themselves as some sort of a god. You become a plaything, and he is the all-knowing, all-seeing creator.
He has been playing this game for a very long time. But before I show you how he's playing it now and what is coming, I want to start in Czechoslovakia. Half a century ago in Czechoslovakia, it was a scary, scary time to live in this part of the world. The world was changing. Europe was on fire, joblessness, hunger. Hunger was on the rise. People didn't know what to do. Protesters started rioting in the streets. The average person was frightened out of their mind. And so what did they do? They begged the government, please bring order. Stop the people rioting in the streets. Well, they did. And the next thing the average person knew, they were a communist country. After country, we found that there are 5 steps to him gaining control. He does it over and over and over again. So let's see what the steps are, and let's see if he's done any of them here. The first one is form a shadow government using a humanitarian aid as cover. This is what he just said. It's kind of funny. It's kind of fun. The first step, he said, is subversive activities. Okay? Step 2, control the airwaves. Fund existing radio and TV outlets and take control over them, or start your own outlets. Remember, take control of existing or start your own. Step 3, destabilize the state. Weaken the government and build an anti-government kind of feeling in the country. You exploit an economic crisis or take advantage of an existing crisis. Pressure from the top and the bottom. This will allow you to weaken the government and build anti-government public sentiment. Step 4, you provoke an election crisis. You wait for an election, and during the election, you cry voter fraud. Step 5, take power. You stage massive demonstrations, civil disobedience, sit-ins, general strikes. You encourage activism. You promote voter fraud, tell followers what to do through your radio and television stations. Well, let's start at the beginning, shall we? Do any of those sound familiar? This is the way George Soros takes country down every time. Every time. Again, he's done it. How many times, Joe? 4 or 5? 4 times. 4 times before. We'll be number 5. So let's go back here. The 5 steps to control. The first one is form a shadow government using humanitarian aid as a cover. Now, is he doing this? Well, let me start with the central George Soros operation, which is OSI. This is his main group. OSI. It is the Open Society Institute. It sounds warm and fuzzy, and to hear the way they tell it, it is warm and fuzzy. Oddly enough, yesterday, in a sign of, I think, total panic and collapse, OSI released a video talking all about all the wonderful things that George Soros does. It's fantastic. It must have cost them a fortune to put this up. Coincidentally, it's released the day that we do our special, to show you that he's just a lovable old philanthropist. That's all he does. He cares about people. Well, I'm sure he does. I'm sure he does. The best way to invest in people. But you need, if you're going to give away $500 million every single year, you better have somebody who really knows how to manage it. And you better have somebody who has a big, big heart. Who is the person to head up your charitable arm, Mr. Soros? Well, he just found he's just the founder of SDS, the radical student group from the 1960s. You remember the days of rage, riots? Yeah. And the spin-off group, the Weather Underground. Yeah. Just the guy who started this stuff, that's who heads the charitable arm. It's almost like subversive activities are kind of fun to Mr. Soros under the cover of humanitarian aid. So OSI spreads the money all over the country. But I'm sure the head of OSI, he's probably changed. One of the things that OSI funded was the shadow conventions in 2000. It funneled 1/3 of the shadow convention, who was hosted here. I mean, unless you were an avid, C-SPAN watcher, you probably don't remember them. But it was an attempt to, as they put it, focus on the issues that the parties just won't touch. Issues like campaign finance reform. Wait a minute. Last night, campaign finance reform. Now, that's a good humanitarian thing, isn't it? Seriously, that's going to feed a lot of children. Campaign finance reform. Remember we said that he spent over $100 million to get campaign finance reform. And what happened? Oh, yeah, I remember. It led to the boom in 501c3s, like MoveOn.org or Media Matters or any of the other things that he seems to fund. They can take in as much money as they want. And now all of those political organizations are controlled by George Soros. But remember, it's humanitarian. One of the organizers of the Shadow Convention was Arianna Huffington, which is now getting the Huffington Post money from George Soros to be able to hire reporters. Isn't that great? She was introducing here in 2000 at the Shadow Convention. She was introducing somebody else, another guest speaker, another co-organizer of the event. Watch.
We're now moving to the second issue of the Shadow Convention, the persistence of poverty in the middle of our prosperity. And it gives me great pleasure to welcome one of our conveners, the Reverend Jim Wallis, the head of the Court Renewal, a new coalition of churches to fight poverty, and the editor of Sojourners magazine.
Oh.
He's also been a mentor and an inspiration to me. So get ready to be inspired. Jim Wallis.
Praise Jesus. Jim Wallis. Sojourners. Faith, politics, culture. That's right. Sojourners, didn't he get a bunch of money recently to help boycott me? That's right. I remember him now. And Sojourners, another group funded by OSI. George Soros, an atheist, dumping a whole bunch of money into a Christian organization. Well, that almost doesn't make sense. Oh, but it's humanitarian. Kind of makes you question the motives, though, doesn't it? Of course, it doesn't take long to see that his attraction to Jim Wallis is because he's a big government progressive. The solution is not with the people in the churches. It is get everybody into the government. He's infiltrating the churches. You see how this works? I know. I'm sorry, Mr. Soros. It's just humanitarian aid. Step number 2 is to control the airwaves. Has George Soros done this at all? Well, Open Society, it's very innocent here. And it's pure as the driven snow. Recently donated $1.8 million so that NPR could hire new journalists. Do we have the NPR thing? Yeah, they just $1.8 million so they could hire 100 journalists. And then Soros wrote a $100 million check to Media Matters to go along with, $1 million to go along with NPR, which was great. Their stated goal, by the way, what got him to write that was they were going to get me off the air and then destroy Fox. Isn't that great? By the way, he gave that $1 million and all that money after we were threatened. We were given a gift by Mr. Soros, and they realized that I wouldn't shut up. I wouldn't stop. And so then he decided, well, I guess I'm going to have to destroy him another way. $1 million also to the TeaPartyTracker.org. TeaPartyTracker.org. This is a website that they developed with the NAACP's media staff. It's supposed to expose the intolerant element of the Tea Party. Then the NAACP takes its content and collaborates with Think Progress, another Soros-funded group, along with Media Matters, and there you go. The next 3 steps? Next. Number 3, destabilize the state and weaken the government and build an anti-government sentiment. Okay, so is he doing this? Well, again, we go back to his organization, his humanitarian organization, heavily funds the Tides Foundation. The Tides Foundation, $4.2 million. They're the ones that funded the anti-capitalist story of stuff indoctrination videos that we have told you that helps kids resent the government that supports a free market system. Tides itself takes some of its money and then sends it on to places like the Apollo Alliance, the home of Van Jones. They're the ones that also crafted the stimulus bill, you know, for the little guy, like Andy Stern. I think we all know how everyone feels about the stimulus bill. Also, OSI decides that they're going to fund a place called the Center for American Progress. You know that one. That's a progressive think tank that churn out big government ideas and who get many of their ideas from another group OSI funds, the IPS. This is the Institute for Policy Studies. Step 4. Step 4 is provoke an election crisis. Well, that, of course, they haven't done anything like that. You know, where you lose confidence in the vote.
No, no, no. Of course not. Of course, you have OSI funding Acorn. This is a group that's willing to sell, human sex slave traffickers and give them a tax break. Soros also created this, SOS, the Secretary of State Project. This is a group that is specifically designed to groom and elect Secretary of States around the nation because they're the ones who have to certify election results. How do you think, what's his name from Minnesota got in last time? Remember all that? Remember Al Franken is, yeah, who's this project? Isn't that weird? They're the ones that call the shots. And Soros has pumped millions of dollars into voting-related groups, some of them legitimate, some get caught doing illegal things, some are kind of a little shady. I like this one myself, One America Votes. They get money from the Tides. Remember, Soros funds that group. They sent illegal immigrants door-to-door in Washington State just before this last election to tell people that they were illegal, but you should get out and vote. There's George Soros for you. And then step number 5, take power. Take power. This one is kind of hand in hand with staged demonstrations. This one's about to come. We've already seen the beginnings of it. The One Nation rally. We saw this. This is the labor union rally in D.C. as a response to 828, a project of the Tides Center, a.k.a. George Soros Group. OSI also donated to the Ruckus Society. They're a radical environmental justice group known for their aggressive tactics. Remember, that was the guy I told you about last night? It was causing all the riots in Seattle. Then OSI has donated to several groups who are trying to get me off the air. You have Faith in Public Life. That's funded by OSI. They're calling for my head. You have Sojourners, of course. They're calling for my head. You have Media Matters. All of them out of the pocket of George Soros. All of this strategy, all of this, the exposure. Why do you think George Soros sent his number 2 guy to my number 2 guy to ask us to consider him a kindly old gentleman? Because what he's doing was never meant to be published. But after being bullied, we stood up. We're not playing your game. It's no accident. This is what Van Jones meant. Top down, inside out, after the bottom up. What the Czech people didn't know is what you know now. That there is an orchestration of the ground. It's all being orchestrated. You know the groups involved now, and you know who's at the top. The Czechoslovakian people didn't know that, so they ran to the people they usually trusted, but they called for the wrong people. The other thing that the Czechoslovakian people didn't know is the first lesson of the 9/12 Project. What was my goal when I introduced the 9/12 Project? To tell you, you are not alone. But here was one of the most important lines out of that, especially in retrospect. Listen to this. The truth is, they don't surround us. We surround them. This is our country. Why is that important? Because when you study what happened in Czechoslovakia, the people felt alone, and they felt surrounded. You're not alone, and they do not surround you. It's an illusion. It's a puppet show. It's a stage. The radicals need you to feel that way. They need you to riot. They need you to create chaos. They'll do it if you won't, but they'd prefer that you did it. So when Van Jones says bottom up, he means get out into the streets. Why do you think she's telling the young communists they're coming for you? Get out into the streets. It's a game. I want to take a minute here to show you something that was released by George Soros last night, and OSI, his charitable arm, because he's a philanthropist. And to be fair to him, I want to show what they rolled out, but I want you to know one thing. This guy has collapsed 4 countries, 4 regimes, 4 currencies. He's the most powerful man on earth, 35th richest man in the world. This is Enron. What you're seeing here, this is what happens when a company is in collapse. This is a desperate cry for George Soros to turn around and look at a guy at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. This is coming undone. You spread all of the information that we have given you, and you do your own homework. You verify yourself. Go to original sources and verify yourself and spread it. because light is the only thing this guy, he can't stand the light. He has to hide behind a mask. But watch their corporate film on, oh, don't listen to that guy at 5 o'clock. Really, I'm a good guy. Here it is.
Over the past 3 decades, George Soros, the founder and chairman of the Open Society Foundations, has spent more than $8 billion to transform the lives of the world's most oppressed and ignored people. From helping those with HIV and TB in Africa to righting centuries of wrongs against Europe's largest ethnic minority, the Roma, Soros has championed open society issues around the globe.
What is it that I really care about? Democracy, market. These are the institutions that you need for people to be able to improve their conditions in life.
His experiences as a child in World War II fueled his drive to combat totalitarianism. In the 1980s, his Open Society Foundations helped topple communism in Eastern Europe, strengthening democracy by supporting education, justice, and freedom of information.
Open society can prevail only when people can speak truth to power.
Today, the Open Society Foundations are present in more than 70 countries, including the United States. Soros recently gave $50 million to provide food, shelter, and clothing for New York City's neediest, who were hard hit by the economic crisis. The foundations work to build vibrant and tolerant democracies whose governments are accountable to their citizens. To learn more about George Soros and his philanthropy, visit OpenSocietyFoundations.org.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic. And don't forget, he's given all that money, you know, just to help good things. Well, for instance, well, just a lot of these. This is only half the list of the organizations that are helping him accomplish his new world, spooky world order.